This is Dan Bjorklund with the Grow Solutions Center. So today's video it's all about the roots. I love this story. I really believe that corn and soybeans, and corn here obviously, are plant factories, and they operate 24/7. And the foundation for that plant factory is the root system. It's the assembly line of that plant factory. It brings in moisture and nutrients like nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, micronutrients. And above ground portion of that plant factory, the leaves or the solar panels that capture sunlight, and together the sunlight with those raw materials, moisture and nutrients, produce carbohydrates and starches that go into the warehouse, which is the ear. We want to do everything we can to produce the maximum root development, to have a healthy plant factory going 24/7 to maximize yield and to go for 300 bushel corn and 100 bushel beans. That's the goal in the next few years. Now look at these two root systems. When you look at the plant factory, first thing that we need to notice foundationally is that the roots of the hybrid you plant are genetically predetermined. What do I mean? The males and the females that are utilized to produce those hybrids that you plant have root systems that vary in architecture. You've got some of these that are very, very narrow and have thick nodal roots. These nodal roots are very, very thick, but it's a narrow, more of a penetrating style root. This one is much wider. You can see the volume of this root system is much greater. You think back to last year in 2021, which root system would have had the best opportunity to do well to extract potassium, for instance, in the top 4 to 6 inches where it's mostly concentrated when that top 4 to 6 inches dried out? Would it be this root system or this one? I think it's obvious that the bigger the root system, the better opportunity that you have to bring in those raw materials, and that keeps that plant factory operating at peak efficiency. Now there's a time for these root systems, especially in those wetter years like we had in 18 and 19, because you need thicker nodal roots. You need to be able to penetrate some of those clay soil types and to go deep, and really in those years to chase nitrogen that is moving through the profile. So there was a time for both of these roots, and I think the key is having genetic diversity. How else can we impact our root systems to maximize yield? This is where the Innovation Center really comes into play, because we've been working with companies that are innovating and looking at new innovations like, for instance, the biologicals. If I thought that 2022 might be similar in the environment to 2021, I might look at a biological or a plant growth regulator to try to impact my root development. Especially if I have a hybrid like this, it's my favorite hybrid, and you want to increase root mass. We have found in Farnhamville that you can increase root size by using specific plant growth regulators and biologicals. Plant populations will also affect root size. In some of those areas where we had the field edge effect, where soybean fields bordered corn on the south and the west, and we had those Sahara-type desert winds come across those beans into the corn and took 20, 30, 40, 50 bushels out in those ends. Maybe in those ends, if we've got that situation potentially for this year, maybe we go with a variable rate prescription that we can provide for you and reduce populations in those sensitive areas. Next time, we will talk in a little bit more detail about the biologicals that we have already researched at Farnhamville. Until then, Dan Bjorklund, agronomist with the Grow Solutions Center, signing off.